it's Jess from Meyer Hatchery. I was just about to head outside and do my daily winter check on the coop and make sure all my predator proofing is holding up nicely. And I thought it'd be good today to talk a little bit about different types of predators, when we would see them, and some suggestions on predator proofing on our coop. Let's get started. Before we talk about the types of predator proofing, let's talk a little bit more about the different types of predators. Predators come out at all times of the day and night, and they're grouped by those times. One group of predators that we need to watch for are predators that are nocturnal. Those predators include raccoons, owls, and even rats. Another type of predator that we want to keep an eye out on is predators that are crepuscular, meaning they're most active during the twilight hours of the morning and evening. This includes foxes, coyotes, bobcats, minks, and weasels. The last group of predators are predators that are diurnal, meaning we're going to see them be most active during the daytime. That can include bears, foxes, hawks and other raptors, and even snakes. Knowing when the predators are most active is really helpful, especially if you have anything trying to come to your coop, but you aren't seeing them. So maybe you're seeing some scratches on the coop at 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, you want to think about different types of predators that are nocturnal, or maybe your birds are making a lot of noise during the day. You're not seeing anything and everybody's safe, but what predators are out during the day? It's just important to know what types of predators there are and what time of day they're usually out and night. So now that we've talked about the different types of predators, let's go over some tips to make sure that our coop is nice and safe, especially in the wintertime, but every season. To make sure that your coop is protected against canines, you want to make sure that you have a skirt around the outside of your coop to prevent any digging. You want to make sure that the latches are on the windows and the doors and they're good, strong latches. And you also want to make sure that you're using good fencing on your coop. Chicken wire is good, but it's not good for protecting against predators. You want to make sure that you're using a hardwire cloth that has those really small squares and is really durable so nothing can pull that down or pull it open. If we want to make sure that we're protecting against felines, we want to again make sure that our doors and our windows have really good latches on them. You want to make sure that there's no holes or gaps in your coop. And you also want to make sure that it's hard for something to jump on top of your coop or get into the enclosure. Predators like raccoons and opossums are kind of tricky because they can get in there with their little hands. So again, we're going back to those doors and those windows and making sure that those locks are really secure and that especially the raccoons cannot open those locks. You want to make sure that the fencing is good and strong and that nothing can get inside that fencing or get their hands through. When we're talking about the weasel family, you want to make sure that, again, no gaps or holes anywhere in your coop, and you want to make sure the fencing, very small holes. Minks especially are very tricky and they can get in the smallest of holes. So you want to make sure that your coop is safe and does not have any of those holes or that the fencing is easy to get through. Predators such as snakes and rats can get into very small holes, so we're making sure that those holes are closed up. You also want to make sure that it's hard for them to get to the egg nest area. So locks on the nest area, making sure that there's no holes because that's where they're heading for. They want to get to those eggs. If you live somewhere that has a lot of bears, you want to make sure that your coop is very strong and sturdy, that a bear cannot climb on top of your coop. And if you know you have a lot of bears and other predators in the area, you may want to consider adding electric fencing around your coop just for that added layer of protection. I've left a link in the description below to some tools to help you when choosing electric fencing for your coop. And the last group of predators we're going to touch on is the hawks, the owls, and the raptors. If you know that you have a lot of hawks or owls in the area, you may want to consider adding a netting over the top of your coop and over the run area. There's also really great products that kind of scare the owls and the fox away, such as the Night Guard products, and I've left the link to those in the description below as well. Hopefully, I've given you a little bit more insight into predators, when we see them, and some tips for preventing them getting into your coop. If you have any questions, be sure to let us know in the comments below. As always, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click that bell so you're the first to know every time a new video has been released. It's time for me to get out and go check on my coop.